If you purchased our front fender for your classic Vulcan, this is to show you how that mounts onto the motorcycle. Now there again, you won't need this fender on the custom model, just the classic only. If you have a custom, your stock front fender should work just fine. So anyway, let me go ahead and show you how this goes together. Just got this back from the painter, and I've put the brackets on. You'll notice the Phillips screws with the rubber washers are on the top of the fenders. Okay, and then the underside, what we've done here is we've mounted the brackets to the fender on the bottom. Now if you'll notice, let me lower this camera down just a little bit. You'll notice I've run the steel straps. It's important that you run those because you just want that extra reinforcement in there. And then, okay, what we've done is the steel strap is against the fender. You could silicone those in there if you wanted, like you did the rear, but I'm not sure it's totally necessary. And then we've put the outside mounting brackets are on top of these straps. So these are on top of this. And this is the nylock nut and the washer. So go ahead and mount those. Now one thing you may want to do is the fender has a slight little flat on the one end. That should be the back of the motorcycle. Let me show you that. There's a little bit of a flat right there at the end of that. That should be the back. So when you get that fender mounted, you'll want to put that toward the back. And then what I've done, it's not really critical, but I've put the slots in the brackets. I put those toward the back also. You don't have to do that, but it probably look a little bit better once you mount it. So go ahead and do that. So the flat and the slots are to the back. And then and go ahead and leave that a little bit loose. We can leave that a little bit loose for now, and then we'll mount it to the motorcycle. If you'll notice, we've run the big Avon tire up front. We have two sets of holes in the brackets, depending on which tire you run. If you're running the stock size tire, you probably want to use the upper mounting holes. If you want to run the bigger tire, you want to use probably the lower ones. So anyway, what I've done on this too, because the fender doesn't match the radius of the tire quite as well as the stock size, I've rounded these corners a little bit on the fender. It just kind of takes that mismatched radius look away a little bit. It still looks really nice on there, but it kind of helps that. Okay, if you'll notice here's what I was talking about, the holes in the mounting brackets. Okay, if you notice there's a hole here. Okay, that should be for your stock size tire. And this bottom hole should be for the oversized tire. So, okay, what I've done is I've mounted this side on, and okay, there's a bracket that holds the brake hose on. This is the bracket here. Okay, you want to mount that on the inside of this bracket. So this bracket, our bracket, should mount right against the fork, and then the hose bracket should mount toward the tire. That's the way I mounted that side. And I put a little Loctite on these screws too. You can either use the screws we supply you in the kit, or you can use the stock mounting screws also. But put a little Loctite on those because you don't want those shaking loose. And I've done the same thing to the other side. Mounted it the same way. You can see the holes here. Okay, now what I've done is I've gone ahead and just cinched these up a little bit, not too tight. And it looks like to me the fender just mounted perfectly. It lined up absolutely perfectly with the tire. So I went ahead and I snugged these up. Now if for some reason there's a little misalignment, you can twist the fender to one side or the other as you tighten these up, because the holes are a little oversized. So this should allow for the misalignment there. So go ahead and mount your tire. Make sure you got the good clearance under it. Make sure you got clearance under here for your bolts. And there you have it. It looks really nice on there. You may want to run a fender. Like I say, it's cool to run without, but boy, if you ever hit a little mud puddle or something, it's nice to have the fender. So anyway, there you have it. It's mounted up. Double check, make sure everything's snug. Double check these again, make sure everything's tight, because you don't want that fender coming loose. And there again, use a little Loctite down here. And there you have it.